let's pick up where we left off with episode 10. This episode is dealing with the Wesenrien trial, and you're also following Nick and the crew as they try to find where Monroe is. Let's start with the trial. It's one of those very common KKK type trials where it's just like one-sided. They don't care to hear what he has to say. They're just going to claim they are doing a trial before they execute him. They do this whole ritual with, sprinkling him with blood and all this different stuff. The classic cult-like aspect. He managed to escape, only get captured again immediately, and yes, it doesn't go the plan, and he gets convicted, and he's going to be executed now. You also have it so the Wesenrien kidnaps Bud to be a witness to how terrible of a person he is. The other thing is they're not even just going after him because of his marriage, they're also going after Monroe because of him being friends with the Grimm, as an even bigger problem. So the trial doesn't go well, he's going to be executed. Meanwhile, the rest of the crew, with Nick and all, are trying to find any connections they can find with the Wesenrien, and they realize that the cop that was put outside of Monroe and Rosalie's house was actually a part of the Wesenrien, and he let them take Monroe because, he's working for them. And so they managed to find out that detail, and then managed to track the Wesenrien council down, and a battle ensues, and multiple of the Wesenrien gets killed, while other ones are captured. Along with that, I love the fact you have it so the headmaster of the Wesenrien gets killed by Monroe and Rosalie. I always love it when you have it so, as I talked about last season with that one episode where it was dealing with that one couple who he was a domestic abuser, and she was the one who took him down, not Nick. And I'm like, in the same way, I always love it when you have it so the people who are most affected are the ones who take the people down, not Nick coming in and he saves Monroe. Even though he kind of does that, but even more so, Monroe's the one who takes down the big bad, not Nick. I always love it when that happens, when you have that justice going on there. Also, generally love that team-up shot they had when they were leaving the police station. There's some better ones in the next season, and also just even later on in this season, there's one that's pretty cool, but I do like the team-up shot in that moment. So overall, the episode was pretty good, and the episode ends with Juliette showing the captain that she's a Hexenbiest now. And that's where we pick up the next episode. Next episode, the captain starts helping her work out her powers and all. He recommends that she go visit this other Hexenbiest in town named Henrietta, who is this really powerful Hexenbiest who can show her the ropes and also tell her if there's a way to take away her powers. And through this episode, you also get to see hints that Juliette is going to get affected by being a Hexenbiest now. Like the way she thinks, her actions and all is just not fully the same Juliette from seasons 1 through 3. It's like this is a different Juliette now. And we're going to be talking about more as the season progresses, what happens with Juliette. But like the hints are there of like, okay, Juliette is starting to, you couldn't say lose her mind, but she's starting to embrace a little bit because she figures out in this episode that, yeah, there's really no way that she can take away this Hexenbiest powers now. She is a Hexenbiest now, and it's starting to affect her brain too. So I really like that hints you have in here. On to the main conflict with this episode. This episode is dealing with some ghost hunters who go to this abandoned house and gets attacked by a ghost. Now, because this is Grimm, it's not actually a ghost, it's a Wesen who has, like eel-like powers with electricity and all. And it's pretty fun. You figure out throughout the episode who's actually behind it. It's a pretty good, I wouldn't say it's like a big twist, but I do like the story that it tells. Moving on to the next episode. The next episode is dealing with a bounty hunter. The first thing I'll say is the opening Wesen you meet, the spirit speaker, who's using his Wesen powers. He's like a blue bond type Wesen, and you see him and you're using his Vogan to like show that he has this spirit inside of him who's talking through him and all. And the first thing I noticed was this is like one of the best costumes throughout the series. And like maybe you might disagree with me, but like I felt like when I was looking at that looks realistic in the fun Grimm type way, like as I talked about with the Swan and how it really looked CGI posted in there, and it's like, okay, that doesn't look like it's actually there. In this way, okay, it's like they did a great job with the makeup and all, like making this wolf look like a wolf human hybrid, and I thought it was a great job. And so that's the first thing. But I also love it how this episode you get to see more about how the Wesen Council works, how they can use these bounty hunters to get jobs done there if they don't want to get their own hands dirty. Like, okay, just put out a hit and these bounty hunters, okay, I'll go in and take care of this. And so, the Wesen Council does not like that this guy is using his Wesen powers to trick people. And so they're like, okay, we're going to put a hit on him. And this bounty hunter comes in and he kills the guy, and afterwards he gets another hit, and he goes kills this, actually a pimp, who's scaring these women into, doing this terrible stuff by, using his Wesen powers, shooting, terrifying them. And so he kills him, and then his third hit he gets is Nick himself. And so now he's hunting down Nick. Nick catches up on him, and he figures out that he's his next victim, and then the guy escapes, and he's going to find Nick. Also, throughout this episode, you get to see Juliette learn more about how to be a Hexenbiest, and now she's a little bit more embracing, like, she is a Hexenbiest, and there's really no way to turn it around. She's learned how to control her Hexenbiest powers, and you get to see more of that throughout the episode, with the last thing of the episode being that the bounty hunter shows up at Nick's house, and Nick's not there, but Juliette is, and so he's going to kill her for right now and waiting for Nick to come back and then kill him. The only problem is, it doesn't go to plan because he goes up against a Hexenbiest, and out of all Wesens, Hexenbiest are one of the most powerful. And Juliette, as you figure out for the season, and as Henrietta mentions, Juliette is one of the most powerful Hexenbiests, because not just is she a natural Hexenbiest, but she became a Hexenbiest because of this potion and all. And thus, you can't simply remove the Hexenbiest powers, but also it makes it so she's way more powerful than most Hexenbiests. And so, yeah, we're going to see throughout the season when people like Adeline goes up against her and realize how powerful of Hexenbiest Juliette is. And it's pretty fun. She kills the bounty hunter, and it's a pretty badass moment for her. Overall, these episodes are pretty fun. I especially love the fact that you get to see more of the Wesenrien and see how they work. We're not going to be seeing the Wesenrien again. It's something I haven't really talked about yet, but it's bigger news. It probably explains a little bit why my season 1 Grimm videos started blowing up, was that they announced recently that there is going to be a spin-off, remake, continuation, whatever you want to call it, of Grimm on Peacock. And it would be interesting to see if they actually do more with the Wesenrien in that. But I do like the idea of the Wesenrien, and, in the way that how it symbolizes stuff like the KKK and the Nazis in real life in a pretty interesting way, expanding on like how racism in this world works versus in our world where it's a little different. But I'm not going to get into political, even that racism is not a political thing. That's just flat out a terrible thing that should not be a thing. Like, if you're a racist, get over it. Other human beings are awesome. You should love your fellow neighbors. So anyways, but with that being said, you also get to see more of Juliette acting like a Hexenbiest, powers and stronger, and now there's another person who knows about her. You get to meet another Hexenbiest. There's just fun little stuff going on in the background. Again, I really, really love having Juliette kill the bounty hunter. It's a pretty badass moment. So anyways, guys, if you guys want to see when I put out the next video, stay tuned. Thank you guys for watching. This has been the Movie Night Review. Peter Way, signing off.